Hello, friends. Do not adjust your sets. It's Monday, January the 9th, and Ipswich Town have already made two signings in this window. My dog's excited. I'm sure you can hear. I'm excited. Mark, Keith, Andy Warren here to talk to you, of course, about the signing of George Hirst, Andy, who arrived on loan last night for the rest of the season from Leicester. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, Mark Ashton and Kieran McKenna will be excited too because he's a player they've wanted for a long old time. Very much a prime striker target all the way back in the summer. He opted to go to Blackburn in the Championship, having impressed at Portsmouth in League One. So no surprise he wanted to test himself in the Championship, but it didn't go well. 11 appearances all in all, struggled to get into the starting lineup, no goals, and as a result, horizons new for him in January, and Ipswich were there as interested as they were in the summer. And I think George Hirst will be happy to be at a club where he's clearly wanted, clearly rated, and they'll have high hopes for him.
Okay, so a striker through the door, Andy. He's been up and down, I think it's fair to say, in terms of loans. Had a very successful one last season at Portsmouth, scored 15 goals, 13 after Christmas. Has been at Blackburn, where it's really not worked out for him at the Championship. He's also spent time at Rotherham, again, where it didn't really work out. So he really be coming here with, I guess, a point to prove as well.
Yeah, he's 23 now. He's at a point where he needs to be putting in those full seasons of football. Clearly, that wasn't happening for him at Blackburn, but yeah, he'll come back to League One. And he'll want to pick up where he left off in League One with Portsmouth, as you say, 13 goals second half of the season. So it's a big loan for him from Leicester, of course, where he's likely to be on the fringes of things there, of course. So a big one for him. It's an important loan for him, and I think coming somewhere where he's so clearly rated and liked and wanted is really big for him. So it looks like it's kind of got the conditions for him to show what he can do.
And what do you expect from him as a player? He's a big guy, isn't he? 6'4". What do we know about how he plays?
Looks like a well-rounded striker to me. Can finish well inside the box. There's evidence of that. Can attack the ball really well with his head. He scored a couple of really nice goals for Portsmouth last season doing that. And crucially seems to find space in the box to turn cutbacks home as well. Small in terms of goals, we're looking at a small sample size here. Those 15 goals he scored for Portsmouth are the only goals he scored in English football, at senior level, of course. So a small sample size, but it looks good. Portsmouth wanted him back in the summer, which is another good sign. So looks a well-rounded striker, and you need to be in Kieran McKenna's system. I think you need to be well-rounded and you need to work hard. That's really important. So I'm sure he'll give that to the team. And looking forward to seeing what he can do.
We should also mention, as part of the narrative in his lineage, because it adds a little bit of a spice as well to the race with Sheffield Wednesday, does it not? For the one of the top two places, because his dad is a Wednesday legend.
Yeah, bona fide Wednesday legend, David Hirst, England international, more than 100 goals for Wednesday in the kind of the late 80s, early 90s, I think it was. I remember him from my early days of watching football. So yeah, Sheffield Wednesday legend there. He came through the ranks, but things were a little sour at the end of his time at Wednesday. A long contract dispute, which I think led to him being frozen out of all kinds of football at Wednesday during his final season before he ultimately moved on. So I think Wednesday, like fans have had an eye on him throughout his whole career, watching him for differing reasons, and he'll get to play against them later in the season.
Yeah, not too far away, is it? Start of February, that game, a big one, which I'm sure he'll be looking to impress in. What does it mean then, Andy, for the likes of Freddie Ladapo, do you reckon this? Because he's been the number one striker for I know he's been in and out of the side. There's never been a kind of set number one striker, but he scored 11 goals. He impressed at the weekend. And now we've got a new big shiny striker who's come in. How do you reckon Freddie will be feeling, and what will it mean for him?
I honestly don't think this means an awful lot for any of the players. You're talking about Ladapo, you can talk about Caden Jackson here. There's obviously other signings potentially happening, which could mean things for other. But I don't think it changes their roles and what they're going to be asked to do. I still think Freddie will get his fair share of starts. He's certainly put a marker down for that against Rotherham at the weekend. A really, really good performance and a really, really good goal at a time where he's not going to be short of motivation at all. he's spoken about sort of how he feels about the transfer window. That all he can do really is while it may kind of be a bit nerve-wracking and can get to you a little bit, all he can keep doing is keep doing what he's asked to do. And he's done it. He's done it well. He's done it well enough for Ipswich. Their top scorers have been top scorers in the league. Of course, they're adding to that, but I don't think it changes his role at all. It just gives a genuine striker option from the bench, which I'm not sure they've had.
Okay, and I guess the final question around Hirst is if he comes in and does well, certainly does what he did at Portsmouth last season, and goes off and scores 13 plus goals, whatever, for Town as we surge towards promotion, can we keep him?
Well, that's to be seen. I'm not sure about if there's any kind of clause in there. If there was a clause in there, it would be for an awful lot of money. I'm sure he's a Premier League player contracted for 2 more years to Leicester after this season ends. So they have their reasons for keeping him till 2025. But I feel sure if he scores the goals that gets Ipswich promoted, a way will be found for him to be playing for them in the Championship next season. But that's an issue for another day. Let's see how he gets on, and hopefully he can hit the ground running, because that's what Town need from their signings.
Absolutely. Okay, so striker in the door, midfielder in the door. Massimo Luongo signed late last week. Nathan Broadhead on the way. A word, Andy, for the start of this transfer window. We're not used to this at Ipswich Town. January's tend to be all very last minute, and kind of just what you can get in has been the history of Town, hasn't it? But now under Mark Ashton and the "Be Relentless" mantra, they've started this like a house on fire. This is not what we're used to.
Yeah, they've every year they talk about we want to do our business early, and they are. This is early. Early isn't announcing it on New Year's Day. That's not early. This is early. It's January the 9th. They've signed a striker. As you said, there's a deal being worked on for Nathan Broadhead. That's not there yet, but I believe he was in Ipswich at the weekend, and that's a very good sign. So hopefully that one gets done as well. And yeah, there's a head of steam here at Ipswich, and these signings will hopefully add what they're hoping to the squad.
Yeah, exciting times indeed. So 2 in the door, 1 potentially on the way. Follow it all with us. Andy's got his ear to the ground as ever, and we'll see you hopefully in the not too distant future on another Townmaker signing video.